Theme song. Oh, welcome back to space, everyone. I don't know about you, but that was a very exciting episode. Ugh, we just lost power in the prison. That was a very exciting episode in the last episode, the part one of the interview. I almost should have jumped on board and just started commenting on what was going on. We lost the ship for a bit while some pirates attacked, and they didn't attack us. They attacked. We took their ship. And then I just bungled the prisoner transfer, and they just all freaked out and took the ship over. So by the time some of my soldiers got back, they retook the ship, and we ended up instead of like 4 prisoners or however many I had caught, we only have 1. Then I had to rebuild this whole section because I learned how much stuff prisoners need. And I think I did this wrong because of this notification here. But this is how I want to do it. So they can use the washroom and they can make their own meals and they just have to stay in their little prison cell. And that's kind of how I want it. I don't want them walking around wherever they want all willy-nilly. Like, I don't want to give the prisoners access to this pathway here and then this whole chamber and the bathroom. I don't want to do that. So I got to figure out what's going on there with this can only be used by prisoners situation. Maybe this something with the door locked. No, it's not locked. I don't need to lock it, I don't think. Anyway, we'll keep working on that. But the real thing we want to do today before the saves get purged is practice some shipbuilding. I've got almost 100 hull blocks. I've got a lot of tech blocks and energy blocks. So I should be able to outfit the beginnings or the nice shape of a new ship. And I kind of want to go with like a long one, I'm thinking. So if I look down here in the ship points here, I've got a tiny square that I could make, like a little runabout, like a little shuttle or something. And that's going to give me 1 system point, or 4 system points and 1 ship point. Or I could go with like a long, broad ship. I guess what I did was like a big old square. So that's this one here. Oh, this one's interesting. This is an interesting idea. It's like a broad, long ship, maybe? That could be a lot of fun. Or a long, skinny ship would also be a very enjoyable idea. So if I were to do that, like what kind of build space do I get out of that? Exit. So that's like roughly half of this. So it's not very wide. I've got to be careful if I build one of those. But it might be worth it. I think that the squares offer the most opportunity to have a, what do you call it, like an optimized ship. So you can get all sorts of stuff in here, and people can kind of get to everything at an equal speed, especially if I didn't do this nacelle thing, if I had like a hallway that went down the middle and across here. And yet I didn't. Oh, they're playing Space Traveler X. Go for it, Vamps. I really think Vamps is liking her new life. I've got her recently settled into this ship, and she seems to be taking to it quite well. We also have a night shift here. I think that's Mr. Different and Vamps. But I have to split this crew up now if I'm going to build another ship. I can't decide if I want to build a long one or a side-to-side kind of looking thing. That could be kind of cool. Let's build a side-to-side. Let's build a long, stretchy one that goes this way. Just for fun. All right, we've just about finished stripping the bones off of this ship. And that will let us move on. Let's do some of this mining while we're at it. And let's get to part 2 of our interview with Axel. So I hope you enjoy the building process of the new ship. And I certainly hope you enjoy my conversation with Axel as much as I did, because it is awesome. Well, without further ado, here is that interview. We are back with Axel, game master extraordinaire. Is that your official title, Axel?
Well, I wear very many hats.
Let's
just say many hats, because when you're 3 people in a game studio, you know, there's many hats to wear. So
I can only imagine. Yeah, you can't just be. I mean, what are the hats? Let's talk about the hats.
Yeah, the hats are interesting.
What are the hats you wear?
Well, I'm part of designing.
Of course.
That's one. I'm the community manager. So that's one.
Well,
I created the Kickstarter page.
Oh, yeah.
I made the trailer together with our composer, and I I spent 2 weeks, 2 weeks recording stuff from the game. Because that takes a lot of time.
Absolutely. You're telling me.
So I put the trailer together. I'm really happy about the trailer. It's like it's been loved by many, and I can like see that it works.
Yeah, I just rewatched the trailer this morning, and I do love it. It gave me in the last episode you were talking about sort of Battlestar Galactica being some of the inspiration for it, and maybe I'm wrong about this, or maybe this is just my interpretation, but I'm also getting such a, even just from the trailer, sort of a Firefly vibe from it. I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
Yeah.
Right? Because that whole idea of like maybe she doesn't have to be pretty, she just needs to fly.
Yeah, and what I love about game development is like Spacehaven has attracted like fantastic talent, and it's amazing because, well, I kind of found Paul Zimmerman, the composer. I kind of found him, but he also found us.
Yeah, and I remember him talking about that.
Yeah, and he was like a big part of the trailer, because originally I was like, man, I don't have time to make any voiceovers or stuff like that. So, but then he happened to have his fiancée.
Oh, I knew it was her.
Yeah. So suddenly he had like made together some like prototype of her voiceover and stuff, and I was like, damn, this is good. And then additionally, I don't remember when it was, but probably before the Kickstarter, our writer, Hambone, he just wrote me on Discord and said, hey, I'm a writer, and I would be interested in writing stuff for Spacehaven.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, another writer again contacting us. And then I looked up his stuff, and I was like, wow, this guy's like, he's loved for his writing.
Wow.
Sci-fi writing. Yeah, and he had like a community of his own. And
oh, cool.
Yeah, and then I was like, wow, there's many who love his writings. And then he started writing stuff for Spacehaven,
like the lore and everything.
Yeah, he's written the lore, and immediately I was like, okay, this guy is good. Like, he just knows his stuff. It was I gave some idea, and he just brought it to life in text.
That's amazing.
And then I told him, we're going to need some narrative for the trailer, and I have thought a little bit of this kind of stuff, and I gave it to him, and then he gave me a text back, and that's the narrative you can hear in the trailer.
Oh, amazing!
And
so earlier you said that you had a lot of people messaging you, like, oh, another writer. So did you have a lot of people contacting you early on?
Constantly. We almost constantly get like people who want to do something. Often they're translators.
Oh, yeah.
And very often they're like composers. Because, those guys have it tough,
Oh, they must.
It's a tough world to get work in there.
Yeah. So Paul, I mean, not to make the interview about Paul again. Paul already had his shot. He already had his interview. But how did Paul and how did the writer, how did they stand out?
Well, with Paul, it was like a lot of back and forth, and that back and forth was also part of why we chose him.
Right.
Because, like, when I sought out to find a composer, I just made an announcement on Reddit, and I told them what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone else pretty much just took the instructions and went off to make something. But Paul was like constantly messaging me, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? And I was like, at first it was, nothing like what we wanted.
Oh,
but
right, okay.
I could hear a part in there that was good. And I just told him, hey, you know what, this part in here, between these seconds, this is sounding great. Can you make more of that? And so it went back and forth like that. And then the final piece he made, it just clicked. And I was like, wow, this turned out great. And that gave me the confidence that, I could communicate with him.
Right.
And he could Like, so that was really important. It was
That's an interesting thing to say. I like that as a piece. That's a good piece of advice in a way too. Is that it isn't necessarily about, as a designer or composer or whatever, it's not necessarily about hitting the right notes right away. It's about how are you to work with.
Exactly. Yeah. So he could like take what we wanted and make it come alive.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then especially because that also proves that they can go different places with it. So it's like, oh, can they go from something I don't want to something I do want? Well, that means that they can do anything. They could go anywhere with it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's been almost 5, or is it 4 years now?
4 years
You've had
total.
You've had a successful Kickstarter. You've had successful community building. Now you have this big community. And you are, I mean, by the time this interview comes out, maybe you're deep into early access anyway, but you're kind of ready. I guess that's like the big show in a way, like going to Steam. When you look back on it all, are you just like, oh, I can't believe we made it here? Or are you just not even looking back? Are you just looking forward? Like, let's go.
Yeah, like right now I'm exactly with the feeling that I can't believe that we made it here. There were like long periods of time where I was like, is this game ever going to be playable?
Oh.
Like, it's grueling. Like 4 years is a long time, and up to 3 years when we launched the Kickstarter and we gave it to streamers, and like it was rough. Like we really felt like this is not good. Like but like when you have looked at the game for 3 years and you know so much about it, it's hard to know how others will react to it. So
right, how do you communicate what you see in the game to the players? What I want to ask about what you said. So when you first sent it out, you said you thought it was bad, or it wasn't playable. What was wrong? What do you think was the early sort of issue, or many issues, I guess?
Well, I think the main issue is just that as a developer, it's impossible to see it with fresh eyes. You've already spent so much time with it, and you spend time with it daily, and so it's hard to get those moments of excitement in that sense. You get excited about developing new features and seeing those come alive, but you know so much about the game otherwise, and then all the systems and those weren't like playing together fully yet, like far from, and the UI was rough, very very rough, and the content, it felt like the content was really missing. Your biggest fear as a developer is like, oh well, when a player plays this 2 hours, they will get bored with it.
Right.
So
they're like, oh, I get the idea. Okay, great, I move on.
Exactly, and that's what you fear, and it's like, oh, it's not good enough. But we were actually a bit surprised about the positive feedback already back then during the Kickstarter. It was
that's got to feel good.
Yeah, it was a relief, and like we knew if we get just some more time that we will be able to really like.
I want to ask you about that positive feedback in that community, because you talked earlier in the last interview about the community building and how important that is, and I think obviously we all understand that. That's intuitive, but what is it like having a large community? I mean, because that could also be a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah, it's time consuming, and there's a lot of pressure. Like on all, there's like, it's important to be able to communicate in a right way. Like I stay away from making any promises unless I know that it's something that we will be able to
right,
bring,
like an update you're about to push.
Yeah, because if you make any promises, those come back and bite you in the ass real fast.
Well, and I'm sure us nerds love holding you to your promises. You said you said there was going to be space stations.
Yeah, and a release date is a big one. You just don't say a date unless you know, because then everybody will be waiting and they will be angry when.
Yeah, well, and it must be tough. I mean, you have. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard it said that the video game community is in terms of art is like one of the most vocal, like one of the most judgmental communities. I don't know if that's true. I don't think of myself like that. I really just like exploring a game that somebody made, and I try to see the effort behind it and enjoy myself. But I do think there's that pressure of like, even if you do fulfill your promises, if it's missing some little thing, you might get that, that negative reaction that you don't want or whatever. Or you get a positive reaction, but they think the game is going in a totally different direction. Have you ever felt pulled by the community? Like, not that you gave in, but did you ever feel like they were thinking it was something else? You had to be like, hey, no, guys, that's not what this is going to be.
Oh, definitely.
Really?
Definitely. And yeah, and I remember because our previous games were purely focused on battles.
Oh, right.
I had to really explain this is not a ship-to-ship battle-only game, because actually that's like just a minor part of the game.
Of course.
And our previous fans, they kept repeating, I'm going to build a battle cruiser and have like tons of turrets and shields and whatever, and there's going to be huge space fights. And I was like, oh no.
I can't wait to get into a 50-ship battle. You're like,
exactly.
Whoa.
I had to explain over and over again, you know what, this is more about like the story of the crew and building, and actually the building is more in the focus, and there's probably going to be ship to ship battles, but they're not going to be like in the main focus. And
totally,
it took some explaining, but turned out okay.
Well, and I think, with any sort of creativity, like if you're making a show or if you're doing a silly YouTube channel, there's going to be times where I'm sure there's some community members when you were like, hey, this isn't a big battle game, where there was some of that community that was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to take off. And you got to say goodbye, sadly, to some of the members, but then you earn other ones that wanted the building game.
Exactly.
Yes. And I said, I guess, like, as community manager, that's your whole job.
Yeah, that's my job, and
managing them.
Also managing them, and kind of I do read pretty much all the feedback we get, like on Discord and Reddit and everywhere, just to get a sense of if there's something really wrong with the game or something like that. It's
and I think you guys commented on one of my early videos. That's kind of blew my mind. I think at the time I had like 200 subscribers or something, and I was just enjoying making videos. And then all of a sudden I see from Bug Bite, I think it was you, wasn't it, that commented like, thanks for the video, or like great video or whatever. And I was like, no way, no way, I'm talking to the developer.
Yeah, it was me, because YouTubers and Twitch streamers, they're great because, well, first of all, you can watch them play your game, and that's fun. But then you can also, you get video footage of what they're doing, and you can see what's going wrong from a design perspective.
Of course.
Like where the UI is not being intuitive and stuff like that. So it's great.
That's interesting, because I'm just playing the game. I probably have no idea what's going on behind the scenes, and you're watching it saying like, oh, that trigger didn't happen, or this didn't work.
Exactly, it couldn't be better. And then while I'm doing that, I might as well just, encourage them as creators to...
Oh yeah, those early hints, you gave me a couple of hints that were super helpful.
Yeah, and just I know it's tough to be a YouTuber, so it's probably fun for you to also get some positive feedback.
Absolutely, yeah. Are you kidding me? Of course. So wait a minute, Axel. Does that mean that I am just basically giving you free QA right now?
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're doing.
Oh, come on. No way. It's worth it. I love it. I volunteer to be QA for the rest of my life on this game, if I have to.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what's coming up in the thing, and I'm just gonna try to lock you into some promises in this interview.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Let's do that. Yeah, your favorite thing, right? This one is a personal one for me, and you can just tell me to shut up. But my question is, in some of the dev blogs, when they were building early walls and stuff like that, I saw that there was a double wide bulkhead with a window. And then I also saw that there were windows. There's a screenshot somewhere, I gotta find it, where there's a window to the outside of the ship, so you can put windows along the side of your ship. Axel, what happened to the windows? Where are my windows at?
We have the windows in our own like dev version.
You guys are hoarding them? You're hoarding the windows?
Yeah, because we like to keep them to ourselves.
So
we don't want anyone
the
else to
fanciest
look
ships.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't want anyone else to look out the window and see the world. So, but I would say there's a high likelihood that they will end up eventually. There's like the reason they're not there is because there's some small issue with them.
Oh, okay.
So, and with these issues, it's often like just a question of time.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's a lot of small issues everywhere, so you just have to like
putting out
pick your
fires
battles. Exactly. So probably one day, we will be like, oh, now we have some time to fix the windows, and they will actually be like probably a nice thing for players. So
I can't wait. I assume, is there a plan for some of that decorative stuff? Is there going to be more those silly kinds of things, like a different type of chair or whatever?
Yeah, it's possible too. We also have some decorative stuff already because basically all the facilities are made from parts. Mm-hmm. So, and then they're like put together in the game editor. So you can use those same parts to create new facilities and, for example, decorative stuff. So.
Oh, that's awesome! So you guys are kind of recycling some of those bits and creating new facilities and new things.
Yeah, basically one of the main philosophies that we have is recycling stuff.
Of course.
Because like everything is made from parts. Even the characters are made from parts, and the legs and the.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean that's kind of like there's a really good YouTuber out there, I forget what his name is, who made a video about reusing parts and how it works sometimes and how it doesn't work if you don't do it right. But for example, like early Mario, right? Like the grass and the clouds were the same asset.
Yeah, and like I know many PC gamers hate mobile, but like because our initial like experience is with mobile, it has really like it has shaped the way we work. Because,
interesting. Yeah.
Because the resources on mobile are so scarce that you have to think about the performance in so many ways. So it has really shaped how we create games.
That's fascinating. Never thought about that. Of course they would be. Yeah, you'd have to learn how to be really economical to make a mobile game. Especially like the ones you guys were making, which were kind of complex, not just like not just pointing and swiping.
Exactly, yeah. So we had to really think about graphics, for example, and saving a lot of space on the sprite sheets, texture sheets.
Of course.
To make
Axel, I want to ask you now about the prisoners. What's going on there, and with the pirates and stuff like that? Here's my question, and I obviously you can just tell me to go take a hike, but when I get into a pirate fight, a couple of episodes before this one, I got into a pirate fight. I ended up needing to go save my crew because I went over maybe a little too early, and most of them were still alive and kicking and shooting. So it created a big problem. And I think right now it makes more sense just to hang out on your ship and let the pirates die. And I think what would what would change that is if these pirates were useful to us as prisoners or whatever. What's the thinking around that whole part of the game? What's going on there, and like what's the plan?
Yeah, so the prisoners, we're actually going to bring a way to recruit them.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then another thing has been like up until now you haven't been able to kill the prisoners in an easy way. Like they surrender, and then you can't shoot them anymore. So
which is nice.
Yeah, it's
that
nice,
but
a lot of players have been like, I just want to kill them and make meat out of them, and as fast as possible.
Of course.
So now we have a way where you can just like if you attack them again, then you kill them when they have surrendered.
Oh, okay. So that's how you
Yeah.
can turn them into meat. You can turn your
Yeah.
prisoners into meat.
But we noticed one thing, like the human meat and human meat and monster meat,
Uh-huh.
their value was like sky high.
Yeah, I loved that.
Which is going to change.
Oh no, you're nerfing it?
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be my whole plan for sustainable economy, was like, I just need to mine humans.
Well, yeah, that's what players have been doing so far. They just like turn pirates into meat and then traded for that, and that value has been like really high.
Yeah, I loved it.
But the thing is, with the factions, we want it's not fully there. But for example, slavers, the slavers guild, they will value human meat much more than the other factions. So we want stuff like
I see.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, so different factions will value different resources.
Of course.
In various ways. So if you have a lot of human meat, if you find a slaver ship, then you can sell it for a good price.
I love it. Okay. Well, talking about what's coming up, it's pretty much just taking a laundry list of the stretch goals from the Kickstarter, and I'm seeing that there are levels of unlocks. But the earliest one, the easiest unlock, was something that you talked about kind of moving away from, which was space stations. But it looks like maybe that's coming back, or where is that in your development stage?
Yeah, so a station mode is definitely coming.
Can't wait.
And we want to make it like, if we can, again, can't make any promises, but we have some ideas with it. Like our idea has been that, well, it would be a station and you don't jump around. So there's like quite a bit of resources around the station.
Right, of course, yeah. It has to be sustainable, doesn't it?
Yeah, and ships will come and you can trade. But our idea was that, you would be attacked occasionally.
Okay.
And then also tourists would come.
I love that. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, and that's where we can create or use the systems that we have, because we always think about how we can use the systems.
Yeah,
so we can create like luxurious areas for the tourists.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yeah, they will enjoy their time.
Can you rent them little rooms and build like a hotel?
Yeah, and like stuff like that, and also a bar. And once we get the like time to focus on the characters, we could have like bar fights.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, bar fights in space. That's going to
now
be
you're sure you're not
awesome.
making promises right now that are going to be hard? Like, is your brother going to listen to this interview and then freak out at you? Like, I got to make a bar fight now?
He might, but the things I'm communicating is also like, I mostly know that my brother has been expressing kind of the same ideas.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I already know a little bit what they want, so I try to stay away from the things that only I want.
Yeah.
At this time when I communicate with the community, so.
Let me. I want to circle back, which is probably annoying to do in an interview, but I just feel like I didn't fully explore my question about the pirate ships and the prisoners. So you were saying you can take prisoners, and that's awesome. But this is my one question for you about that. What is going to encourage the player to board a pirate ship, aside from wanting to have a shootout? I don't want to lose any of my people. I've become very attached to them, especially because I can rename them. So what do you think is either coming down the pipes or some things you guys are tweaking to make it so that it is worth it to board a pirate ship and have a shootout, rather than blow a hole in the ship and wait for them all to die? I mean, I know the human meat, but now it sounds like you're making that less valuable anyway.
Yeah. Well, part of the pirate is just, to have like adversity.
Yeah.
And have someone to fight in the game. And the taking prisoners and stuff like that is to allow the players to roleplay a little bit.
Right. And I suppose if I can take prisoners and recruit them now, that makes it more like something I would want to capture them while they're alive.
Yeah, and you can of course attack any faction. It doesn't have to be the pirates, you can become a pirate yourself and
Oh yeah, I never thought to
start,
do that yet.
yeah, you can start attacking everyone then and be that pirate yourself who always attacks and steals
That's
everything.
tough though, because I like being on good terms with lots of ships, so I can restock my water. That's been my main fear, is restocking my water.
Yeah.
But if I blow up their ship, I only get, whatever they have left. I don't get to trade.
I don't know if you knew this, but
Uh-oh, what?
you can trade your prisoners, like ask for ransoms.
Oh, amazing. So that's in the game now. That's implemented.
Yeah, it's in the game. It's
So do
if you take merchants as prisoners, for example, you can, if you meet another merchant ship, you can contact them, hail them, and then you can ask them if they want their crew members back, and they will give you resources in return.
Oh. So I don't have to spend any of my precious credits, which I've been hoarding.
Yeah. So that's a way.
But they're at war with you at that point, are they not? The merchants?
Yeah.
So when they would pull into a system, or you pull up on them, you're in red alert, everybody starts firing at each other, but then you also hail them, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then be like, whoa, ceasefire. I've got some prisoners I'll give you.
Exactly. That was one of the problems we had. We have, like, you're at war with someone, so how can you communicate with them?
Yeah.
And that's why the ceasefire is in the game, because it allows for that. Yeah.
So you're like, whoa, let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah. And jumping back to your original question of why the player would want to board a pirate ship, I don't really have a good answer to that.
Well, not yet, at least.
Yeah, but I know a lot of players will wanna do that because it's exciting.
Of course.
Like, it's exciting to take your crew members and just go to another ship. There's something so exciting about that, and have a look what their life looks like, and then you start shooting at each other and and you see what happens. Yeah, it's just I've seen so many crazy things already. Like,
oh really?
One YouTuber were like attacking the pirate ship, but then the pirates get the same idea and they go attack the player ship, and so they cross each other, and then they start like capturing each other's ships and stuff like that.
They ended up just switching ships.
Yeah, exactly. It's very funny.
Oh my goodness, I haven't had that happen to me yet. I guess my problem is as a gamer, I'm like too conservative. I try to I don't want to lose anybody, and and that and that's true. You're right. It doesn't make for very exciting gameplay when my people are just like happily living their lives.
Yeah. But you can get attacked still.
Of course, I got to be careful. Moving on from that, we'll talk about the game's development so far. I'm pretty sure you're excited to get onto Steam, obviously. And you have a game on Steam already, so it must be an easier process. But what is it like being a game developer and approaching Steam? Is it intense? Is it, or are they very easy to get on board with? Or do you have to have like meetings and stuff?
Well, it's easy to get on Steam.
Oh, great.
There's some you have to get the game build there, and you have to implement some stuff, and of course have all the description and screenshots, that kind of type. But Steam has automated the system very it's largely automated, so Steam doesn't have to do much to let games come in.
Oh, okay.
They take a manual look at them, but it's just like a quick look, if the game is working.
Oh, right, yeah. Is it a horrible thing that you're trying to sell, or is it oh, this looks like a real game? Okay, fine.
Yeah. So in that sense, it's not hard, but it's really intense because so much depends on the launch of the game, how the first reviews go and all of that. It will determine how the game will succeed financially, and it's really stressful.
Yeah, I can only imagine. That must be tough.
Yeah, and it's it's a known fact that most games, they could sell half of their lifetime sales in a very short span of time.
Really?
Yeah, and we talking about half of the sales being the first month, stuff like that.
Oof.
So it's big. The release is big.
Okay, I feel for you. You must be nervous.
Yeah, but if you have a better game, that sells in a better way. The stable sales after the first launch will be, high. Like RimWorld is like crazy. It's been on the top list for so long, and another game is Oxygen not included.
Yeah,
that's also like, and Factorio. These are like games that release their game and they just stay up there, and that's
just keep making sales.
Yeah, but most games don't do that. Of course, we're hoping that we will have something similar happen to Space Haven. That would be amazing.
Well, I mean, what I love about talking to you about this is just hearing some of the plans that are coming down. And like you said, you don't want to make promises. So some of the stuff you've already told me, it sounds like it's almost ready to go, or at least on the way. So to me, that means there's some content updates. I mean, Station Mode is almost adding another game on top of it in a way.
Yes.
And to me, that also unlocks the replayability, because right now I'm getting close to being finished my playthrough, because at some point I'm going to run out of planets or derelict ships to explore. So it's like, oh, now I have unlocked Station Mode. Okay, well, maybe I'll just play this one save game for another 100 or 150 hours.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome.
One thing we're going to do is add the endless mode. So when you reach the end of the galaxy, it will just generate a new one.
Well, that's it for me then. That's it for me. That'll be me just playing this game for the next 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. But the stuff that will take a lot of time is actually, kind of getting the meat on the bone.
Of course.
Like what's happening in the systems and what are the other factions doing and all that stuff. So
what do they get up to while you're living your life? They've got to live theirs.
Yeah, like it's not enough to just have planets to jump to. You have to have like interesting content, and
of course
that's the stuff that takes very long to create.
Yeah, that seems like No Man's Sky learned that lesson pretty hard.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, you can't just have stuff to look at.
Yeah, and this is the reason why 4 years of development and we release into early access, because
of course.
We know that there's going to be a year or 2 years of having to still develop content, like the systems and everything, and the factions create more meat on the bones, so to speak.
Well, if I have anything to say about it, as a massive YouTuber with hundreds of subscribers, then I think it's going to be huge and provide a lot of runway for you to roll out all the content I want.
Yeah.
I got a couple last questions here to wrap it up. One of the ones I wanted to ask you, these are more general about you as a game maker, but it could also work with Space Haven. So one of my questions is, how do you feel about mod support in general, but also with Space Haven? I mean, making our own assets or something like that, or making our own scenarios. How do you as a game maker feel about the fact that you're making something that, like a piece of art basically, that you want people to interact with, but then all of a sudden they come along and they're like, yeah, but I wish the beds were like this?
Well, I remember I had the first experience of that with Space Haven when suddenly this one guy had created type of plant or something like that. We didn't even know that someone was trying to mod the game or anything, but suddenly he just came up with a screenshot that, hey, I made this. And I was really excited, because
good.
Someone was able to make more content to the game without us having to do pretty much anything in that sense. So I felt like it was great. And
so you do like that? You like the idea of adding on to the game? For
sure. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And if it was like super easy, in our case I would be so happy, but it's not really.
Okay.
You can do it, but it's complicated. But we do have like our own plan to make a kind of a tool for making that easier. But the only thing with that is that we don't know to what extent it will be possible.
Right. Yeah, I mean, one of my early dreams that I even suggested on the channel was like, I would love to be able to take a ship that I've designed through some scenarios that are either made by the game or made by fans. But it's like, I can still have, I don't need to design a ship from scratch to play the scenario. I can take my ship on this adventure. But I imagine that would be pretty tough to implement.
My brother had an idea to make these kind of challenge scenarios where you would have to play like different scenarios, and there's like some challenge it could be whatever. Maybe you only have one guy and you have to like get to away from the sector or something. And
Yeah.
There's like stuff like that. So I guess that type of like supporting that will take time.
Of course.
But, it's possible. It's possible. It's something that my brother came up with that he kind of wanted. So I wouldn't be entirely surprised if he was able to kind of
It's kind of inevitable.
integrate that into the mod tool. I'm not sure, but
Right.
already with the game customization, you can like see that we made it possible to tweak the amount of asteroids and all those types of things.
Wait, is that in the game already?
Yeah, when you start a new game, you can. This was it. Yeah, you can like. There's the difficulty levels, but then you can customize them yourself.
Of course. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't notice that. I mean, I got started a while ago and just keep playing this one.
Yeah. That's quite a recent update actually. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Man, that's great. I can't wait till you start another playthrough even.
Yeah.
I was just wondering what it's like, maybe even over in Finland compared to over here. But like, what does that feel like? What does the games community feel like to you?
Well, like I'm very much a dreamer, personality, and I have like really creative imaginations and all those things, and like I would say like the way I wanna create games, or how I strive to create games, is like painting together with players, because you have to remember that we don't know what we're doing. What I mean with that is not that we don't have the skills, but like this game is a sandbox for us to like.
Right.
And all the discussions we have are merely filters. They're filters for trying to avoid big mistakes that cost time. But
okay. Oh, that's interesting. I haven't thought of that.
Exactly. And we are not like these masters that know what is the ultimate feature or
right.
what is the ultimate game. So that's why we wanna like really like find the essence in the community as well, and have that like a northern star to guide us.
I love that.
That's how I would explain our like philosophy of how we develop games, and that's why we're so close to our community, because we know there's kind of a truth in there, because there's so many voices, and when there's many voices singing the same songs,
yeah,
you know that there's something there for many. So
I love that. So you guys are writing the music and you're conducting the choir, but you still need the choir to actually make the art.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah. So
that's nice.
And this ties into the roadmap thing, which is something I don't like at all. It's like, when you have a roadmap, you kind of say that we know it all already. This is how the game is going to be, but it's not like that at all. It's a sandbox for us too, and if it wasn't, Spacehaven wouldn't be what it is today, because when you see it come alive yourself, you realize, oh, so this is what we want to do, and so on. So, and then when players play it, you realize something else, and it's just constantly changing, and that affects what you do next. Yeah.
Oh, that's I really like that idea of, it's almost like free form game design, but also there's a plan.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can have the plan, but get ready to abandon it if the community goes somewhere else.
Exactly. Like there's some kind of truth that could come from the community, and then you just go with that. It's very good because you're able to be so agile.
Yeah.
Really like.
Oh, that's fascinating. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, then, from one of your community members, I thank you for making this game and giving me something to spend way too many hours on. No, I'm just kidding. But it is a great game to be playing, and it was really fun to be able to sit down and talk to you via Discord. One day I'll be in. Are you still in Finland? One day I'll be over there.
Sure. Come over.
I'm gonna come visit.
Still in Finland. Yeah. Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm filthy rich off of my massive YouTube channel. So.
Yeah.
So I'll be traveling the world now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Living the dream.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, yeah. What else to say except for thank you and keep up the good work. Stop talking to me and get back to making space stations.
Yep, that's what we will do.
Yeah.
And I will be watching you play in the
Oh,
future
that's
as well.
nice. Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm hoping to get some more gameplay going on. It's been really fun to do these interviews, but I guess I got to just dive back into the drama. And I think you've taught me something very, very important, which is, sure, maybe it's safer to fly your ship and wait for the crews of your aliens and your pirates to die, but it's more exciting to get out there and get your hands dirty a bit.
Yeah, go get some human meat and sell that to a good price while you can, because the next update is going to ruin that.
That's so funny. Enjoy selling. That's how we're going to end the interview. Enjoy selling human meat while you can, because it's getting nerfed.
Yep.
Well, thanks so much for joining me, Axel. I hope you enjoyed the interview as much as I enjoyed doing it. And
it was really fun.
Oh, that's great. And we are looking forward to ever so much more content from Space Haven. Well, we have done it. We have finally built, or finished, I guess, sort of finished building our second ship in the rightfully named, by the way, the HSS Corrupt Save, which was sort of like a jokey name for it. And now I've kind of like come around to that name. The corrupt part, at least, is really cool. The Corrupt Save. The HSS Corrupt Save is the bane of the universe. It has got 2 hull stabilizers. It has 2 shield generators and then 2 turrets. So it is a bit of a tank, a little bit of a gunboat. It can't really do much else. I don't have a lot of manufacturing in here. I could get rid of like this shuttle bay maybe and stuff a recycler in there. And then there's these little unused spots here and here. And these kind of areas here. Like, I don't know, I created another, like a super swanky bedroom in here. But it's like, I don't know, maybe that's a prison or something, a little prison cell. Other than that, I don't really know what to do with some of these spaces just yet. But I'm sure as I continued flying and exploring with this ship, we would find a lot to do with it. But for now, we finally have caught up to the PCS Rizuri Shiro. So let's make sure that we have our turrets on full, our shields on full, and navigation just in case we need to run on full. All right, arm your stations. Get to it. We don't have a lot of time. What do you guys do? Kaiser, where are you going? Why is he going? He's going to do some of that work first. Oh, the Rizuri it left again. Oh, okay. This thing is going to be hard to catch up with. You know what? Let's go catch it. We can find this. We can find out wherever it went. We'll go get it. It has been a blast playing with this ship, this Solidia, and I find that the Corrupt Save is an excellent. They make a good duo, is what I'm saying. Okay, jump, and they take to the stars. And here we are. I like to think. Oh, I didn't get a lot of time thinking about that. I like to think of them as ready to go now. Oh, my evasion failed? Oh, that's a shame. Drop out of warp. Dun, 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 dun. I think because of the broad shape of the of this ship, I really love watching it drop out of warp. Like, we'll put it like right here and here and just watch it just like drop in. Okay. They're not getting away this time. Tactical map. Bring up the tactical map. Are we good to go yet? Yeah, we're armed and ready. So let's just start. I don't know if you can actually target the shields or anything like that, but let's start targeting everything. 4 turrets on there, 2 turrets on here. Every single system except for the scanner is being targeted. Or, I mean, not really. Open fire. Look at this tank here. This is a beast. Hull stability 100, shields 50. What do we have here? Hull stability 50, shields 25. The Solidia is actually a much weaker ship. I don't think they're going to get away with it this time. I just don't think they'll be able to jump out. And if they are, we'll be able to catch them. Oh, they did jump again. Well, I really hope you enjoyed the interview. that we did with Axel there, part 2. That was a lot of fun for myself as well. I love doing those interviews. I love getting to talk to these people who have, put their heart and soul into these games and made them as fun as they are. Look at these 2 ships cruising through the universe. Oh, we're going to get 2 evasion succeeded. Good. Now drop in on the ship, please. We're going to get 2 derelicts out of this. We're going to get the pirate ship, and then we're going to get the other derelict vessel. Yeah, it's an absolute joy to get to talk to these folks. Let's put it there. Oh, we can't. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Oh, you thought you were getting away, pirates? Remember when you chased me around in the early game? Remember when I had to carefully evade you? Well, no longer. Yes, get your last few. It's a nice looking ship, actually. It's a shame that I had to blast it out of the sky. Okay, stop shooting. Are we done shooting? We're done shooting. As I was saying, yes, it is a real blast to be able to play this game, to interview the people that worked on it. All right, load up my away team and head out. Let's go to the derelict vessel first. I don't want to end this whole season, this whole series. I don't want to end. Oh, we've been here already. Okay, we've got a few more star systems. We're in this star system here, but we got pretty close to the edge of the universe, or I guess the center of it, the center of this galaxy. So we could very easily finish this up and probably even get like a 3rd ship running, but we don't have the crew for a 3rd ship. There's something just wonderful knowing that we now have 2 ships up and running, functional ships, able to cruise the stars and keep everybody safe. I like the idea of watching Kaiser pigging out, Vamps playing games, everybody just having their meals for the day. Meanwhile, Aya, our prisoner, paces back and forth waiting for more pirates to join her. We have no idea what's going to happen to her in the future, but who knows? Maybe they'll eventually win her over, although they can't because this is an old version, so we haven't updated yet. And then over here on the corrupt save, you've got Graceland, Michael, Garibay heading off to bed after he takes a quick poop. Good Garibay. Have a good poop, Garibay. Don't crap your pants like you tend to do. Mr. Different here checking in and starting up his console panel because it's his night shift. He's on the skeleton crew of the corrupt save. He'll keep things humming along. He'll keep the power generator filled with power cables, whatever, energy rods. I can't remember what stuff is called. And it's just nice to know that this thing is going to hum along. They're going to be skirting about the universe, the scourge of any pirate out there, searching any derelict and defeating any alien for years to come. I won't be able to check back in on this ship, either of these 2 ships, so we'll just have to imagine this save file just carrying on without us, living happily in version 0.8 or whatever it is. I cannot wait for early access, which is fast approaching, and I hope everyone has an absolute blast playing this game. So from solid content to you, have an excellent day or evening whenever you watch this video, and I will see you in the next solid content.